that is breaking even broke me too. The lie that is breaking even the best parents. This is breaking me too. What if I told you that the very thing that many good parents believe that is helping their children is actually breaking them? Is actually the thing that is breaking them. We have been told a lie. I was told a lie, and probably you too, you were told a lie. And we all fell flat for it. Yes, we have been told a lie, a comforting one for that matter. But it's costing our children peace, confidence, and purpose. So in this session, we're going to uncover a subtle but powerful parenting lie. One that is hidden behind our good intentions. And you will discover how it forms. And you will discover how it forms, how it shapes your parenting. And most importantly, how to break free from it, because of a truth is actually breaking your relationship with your children. So I have spent years helping parents discover purpose-based, peace-centered ways to raise children. And I have seen how these lies shows up again and again, even among good parents, even among intentional, devoted fathers and mothers. So by the end of this video, you will see parenting through another lens, totally. And trust me now, you know that whenever we meet here on the Parenting Talk Show with Coach Ayolua, we have different things, new things to discuss. So at the end of this session, you will begin to see parenting with another lens, with completely different lens, one that restores peace, connection, and confidence in your role as a parent. So stay with me to the end of this session, because trust me, you are not going to live the same way you have come. So what is this hidden lie? The lies that is breaking even the good parents. What is this lie? Let's move on. The lie is that being a good parent means controlling the outcome. That's one of the lies, and that's what the discussion of today is, going to focus on. That lie that being a good parent means controlling the outcome, controlling what, happens every time. So we confuse guidance with control. We think we are guiding our children, but in the real sense of it, what we are doing is that we are controlling our children. You must have heard me say this over and over again, that parenting is not about control. It is not. This is one of the major mistakes that we do as parents. And this is one of the things that has been straining our parent-child relationship. Now, I usually use this illustration when I'm having conversation around parents controlling their children. Imagine that you have a boss, and every time what your boss will do is to control you, is to control what you do, how you do things, the outcome, everything, every time. Not giving you opportunity to, exercise your own intelligence. How would you feel? Would you like to work with that kind of a person? Will you feel comfortable relating with that kind of a boss? Will working with that kind of boss be enjoyable to you as a subordinate? Of course, you and I know that is what happens when we try to control the outcome of what is happening in our parenting. Coach, do you mean that we should leave our children uncontrolled? No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that parenting is not about control, it's about guidance. Remember that you are not raising morons. Some of us, when parents complain to me that my child asks too much question. If you see my teenager, if I ask my child to do anything, my child will ask me why. Why do you want me to do this and all of that? And I ask, are you raising moron? Are you raising dummy? How would you expect that you are raising a child and your child cannot question you? And your child cannot, ask, okay, you asked me to get up. May I know why? Is there anything bad in that? No, nothing is bad in that. But because we have been conditioned to see it as if because we are the parents, we shouldn't be challenged. My mom, good afternoon, ma. Happy Sunday. Thank you for always joining me. So we have equated when children are questioning us, we see it as if they are rude, that they are disrespecting us. And that is not true. When your child is questioning you, it means that your child is thinking. It means that your child's thinking skill is active. And what you need to do at that time is to guide your children to question responsibly, respectfully, constructively. But we see, when our children say, oh, daddy, you asked me to do this. Why would you want me to do this? Or mommy, you say I should do this. Why do I need to do this? We see them as being rebellious. We see them as being rude. We see them as being stubborn. And even that is a system we are building, even in our place of worship. We, the leaders, we don't want the subordinate to question us, even when we are doing something wrong. And that is not good. That is not appropriate for human existence. If we cannot challenge the existing system, how do we want to improve? How do we want to improve? So, in parenting, we think one of the lies that we grew up with is that a good parent, being a good parent, means controlling everything. Your child wants to do this, you are there, you are the one making the decision. Your child, have an idea. Some of us don't even listen to our children, even when we are taking decisions that concerns them. We don't even want to hear their own point of view. We just want them to follow through without questioning. It's a lie that is destroying our children. It is straining our relationship with our children. It is destroying our children's wiring and design. There is difference between guidance and controlling. There is difference. Yes, they are not the same thing. But oftentimes, we confuse guidance with controlling. And that is not true. We confuse guidance with love and overprotection. Even when we overprotect our children, we still say, I'm doing this because I love you. Yes, I know that it's coming from the place of love. But love is not a bondage. Love is not a cage. Some of us, we love our children so much that we can't even release them. We can't even leave them alone. They are doing this, we are staying with them. They are doing that, we are staying with them. They move this place, we are staying with them. No. So we confuse guidance with control. And this is one of the lies that even good parents, intentional parents, falls for. Auntie Shadi Akitola, thank you for joining me. Good afternoon, big sis. Thank you. I see you. So this is one of the big lies. So if you are watching me now and you believe, thank you, ma, amen, and you believe that controlling the outcome of your parenting means you are a good parent, news flash, that is big error. You are committing big error. And you may not know the impact of what you are doing until your children grows out of your home. I always say this. I've heard parents complain that, and when my son got married, my son forgot me. When my daughter got married, she just forgot me. No. What usually happens is that there was no connection. There was no connection in the first place. Some of us think because we are living with our children, because our children are living under our roof, they just need to know everything is just all right. I keep saying this. I've worked with over 60 teenagers and I've seen patterns, and I can even relate to myself as a teenager. I have seen patterns, and the pattern is that most of our teenagers, even though they are living together with their parents, they are lost. And their parents are not even aware. They are far away. And their parents are not even aware. But we just assume, because I'm feeding this child, because I am the parent, I'm paying the school fee, I'm buying clothes, so is my child. Newsflash, you are wrong. Some of your children are lost. And that is the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. So, this lie of, I want to control everything that my child is doing, is a big lie that is destroying our parenting. And I hope that we receive and do things the way it should be done. Fine, we shouldn't leave our children, we shouldn't leave them because there are decisions that they can't take rightly at this stage. But there is difference between guidance and control. And by the end of this session, you will understand what that really means. So that hidden lie that a good parent control the outcome is that one lie that is destroying our parenting big time. Even parents of children, of pastors, of ministers, I have worked with some of them. And I can tell you for free, I can tell you for free that most of us don't even know our children. Most of us, we don't even know our children. We just assume that we know our children. And you must have heard me say this. We run the parenting assessments at the Mother Family Focus. And there's a session that assesses the connection between parent-child. And oftentimes, when we run this assessment, when the parents are saying, oh, I'm doing well in this area. Oh, I am connected with my child. I am this, I am that. The child is saying no. Is saying another thing. And we will believe the report from the child because the child is actually the recipient. When the parents are scoring themselves 10 over 10, 9 over 10, you will see from the child's data 2 over 10. That means there is a missing link. Something is wrong somewhere that most of us are not aware of. So, what's the thing that build up this lie? Is our culture. Our culture. Misinterpretation of our culture. I have said this and I will continue to say it because it is actually the truth. Most of us believe that African parenting style is the harsh, African parenting style is characterized by harsh discipline, beating, saying harsh words and all of that. Let me burst your bubble. If you believe that, you have a totally wrong belief. African discipline system is not harsh. Beating is not a parenting, is not a discipline strategy for real African parents. It was a borrowed parenting pattern from slavery. It is because we don't do research. We don't do research. So when I hear parents say, coach, this thing that you are saying, this is not for African parents. This is not African style. Excuse me. Go and do your study. Fact check me. This thing that I'm saying, say, Coach Ayoluwa said this. Beating, harsh words, punitive punishment is not African style. It was borrowed. It was borrowed from the colonial masters. Excuse me. From the colonial master. That wasn't our style. That wasn't our style. So, because of the wrong interpretation of culture and the normalized fear, we are parenting with fear. What would people say? Control-based model. What would people say? Oh, if my child is misbehaving, people will say I'm not a good parent. And that's why when our children misbehave outside, We discipline them, we embarrass them outside, all in the name of discipline. My mom has done this many times. My mom she's watching me now. She's watching me now. If you misbehave outside, you will receive your goes outside. Even if it's in the market, that is not African discipline strategy. It was borrowed. And we think they are working. They are not working. They are not working. That's why I normally encourage parents. When I have parents, complaining about misbehavior and all that, the first thing I usually ask is, you need to fix your connection. What it means is that there is a breakage in your connection. I'm not saying that your parenting will go perfect every day. Your child will always obey what you say. No, that's not what I'm saying. Of course, parenting has its ups and downs, but there are some things that we do that even in a difficult moment, we can still maintain connection with our children. Let me tell you this. I wrote this in my book, Discipline Without Damage. If you are not connected with your children, you cannot correct them. You cannot correct them. Connection doesn't mean having them around you. It doesn't mean you are walking, you are holding your child's hand. It doesn't mean you are feeding them and all of that. No. I mean deep connection. So if you are not connected with your children, you cannot correct them. And that's why it is very important for us to ensure that our connection with our children are always in contact. And if by chance we are humans, things can get out of hand. But when we are conscious, when we are intentional, we will quickly identify that, no, something is wrong with my connection with my child, and we will quickly go to repair. So culture and fear normalize the control-based model. That is what forms this hidden lies that is destroying our children. Then there's difference between shaping a child and forcing a version of them. There is a difference between shaping a child. If you have not read my book, Why Find Your Lost Purpose, something is missing in your parenting journey. I will keep saying this because I designed this book to rescue parents, to rescue destinies, children's destiny. A lot of us are destroying our children, all in the name of parenting, all in the name of discipline. We are destroying our children. So we are forcing a version of them. We think this is how I want my child to behave, without considering their wiring, their design, their strengths, their weaknesses. It is important that we put all those things in perspective before we even discipline our children. And that's why I keep saying again, if you are parenting in this era and you have not run parenting diagnosis assessment, my dear parents, you are parenting in error. Thank you, John Oluwasegun. Thank you for joining me. You are parenting in error. If you have not run that assessment, you are parenting in error, because that assessment will open to you. It will help you to know where you are currently in your parenting journey. What is it that you are not doing well? What is it that you are not supposed to do that you are doing? And it will equip you to design a personalized discipline strategy for your children. I said this last week on the show, that if you have 4 children, it is very unlikely that the 4 of them will have the same design and the same wiring. What does this mean? This means you need different disciplinary measures for each of them. And when I'm talking about disciplinary measures, I'm not talking about beating. I'm not talking about yelling. Because I've heard parents, when I talk about it, they say, some children need to be beaten. Some don't need to be beaten. No children need to be beaten. It's just because we don't know how to correct without beating, without harsh punishment. That is one of the lies that we have grew up with. We can raise well-rounded children without damaging them. And that's the context of my book, Discipline Without Damage. My books are available on my seller store. You can get yours. And another banger is coming. Trust me that I love writing. And you cannot read my book and remain the same. Those that have read my book, they have their testimonies. You cannot read my book and remain the same. They are researched back, they are spiritually led, they are full of tools, strategies, frameworks, models that have designed to help you parent with ease and calm. So there's a difference between shaping a child and forcing a version of them. So how does this lie shows up? This lie shows up, in a subtle way that we just think it's normal, it's okay, like micromanaging. You can't give your child a chore to do. You are still, your child is washing plates. Put it here. Put the water here. Don't do it like this. Don't do it like that. You can't even allow them to make mistakes, to make error. You must have heard me say this, that parenting is messy. But in that messiness, that is where growth happens. Thank you very much, my brother. That is where growth happens. When we allow our children to make errors, to make mistakes, they learn. But when we keep micromanaging them, we think that means we are good parents. No, that doesn't translate to being a good parent. Then guilt. Last week I talked about childhood trauma related. I had a discussion around that. Childhood trauma and all of that. Some of us, our decisions about our parenting is influenced by what happened to us, by what did not happen to us. When you say, my parents beat me and I turn out to be okay, so why won't I beat my children? That is trauma speaking. That is trauma speaking. Your decision is not based on the reality that is on ground. You are beating your children just because your parents beat you and you think it is the right thing. Your parents did that because that was all they knew. And experts are coming out to say there are better ways that you can do this. But some of us, due to religion, pride, we still quote scriptures. We quote scriptures upside down. Upside down. But God is not an author of confusion. That I know. God is not an author of confusion. So this lie shows up in micromanagement, guilt, perfectionism. We want our children to be perfect. Some of us, we also want to be perfect, and that's why we subject ourselves to unnecessary stress. Unnecessary stress. You want to be perfect. You don't want flaws. You don't want your children to be, to make any mistakes. We even quote scriptures. We say, after all, God's scripture says we should be perfect. If we can't be perfect, the Bible will not say we should be perfect. Okay, are you now perfect? You want to equate yourself with God. It's only God that is perfect. It's only God that can be perfect. Perfection is a journey. It is a process. And the same scripture that says, work out your salvation with trembling. Sorry, if you are not a Christian and you are watching me, just see the scripture or Bible as a book that we can all learn from. It is the same scripture that says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. What does that mean? That means perfection is a process. Moving from point A to point B to point C. Keep moving. So all this perfectionism, I want my children to be the perfect one. I want my children to be able to do everything. It is a lie. That doesn't mean you are a good parent. You are just falling for that lie. And that is damaging your children. Then, performance parenting. Performance parenting. The way we behave, that we believe that when you are an authoritative parent, you are a strict parent. When you say sit down there, you expect your children to say, that is how good parents behave. It's a lie, oh. It's a lie. If you put a system in place to analyze the extent of damage that has done to your children, some of you will shake your head. You will shake your head. And that's why I keep saying, if you are parenting in this era, you need to belong to a system like this. And that's why I've created this platform for parents to learn. Parenting is not assumed. Don't assume parenting. Don't think that you know it all. When when I speak with parents and they are proving, I do this with my children, I do that, I just smile. You know why? Even me, as a parenting expert, I know how much I have invested in parenting. I have invested in myself financially, my time, knowledge, research. I read every day, every single day about parenting. I write at least 4 or 5 times in a week about parenting. And that's why you can be seeing my books. That's why you can read from me every day on my social media platform. I do research. I am a certified associate parenting coach. I am a certified play therapist. See, come, I'm not just saying this to boast, but with all of this that I have, with all of this that I have done, I am still learning. That's where I'm going to. I am still learning. I am still working with tools. I am still evaluating my processes. We don't even know what parenting is all about. That's why you don't even have any skill, you have not even attended any courses on parenting, you can say, all this thing that coach is saying, what is it that we don't know? What is it that we cannot do? See, there are many things that you don't know. There are many things that you have not done. There are many things that you have not done. And you need to be humble enough to learn. Because parenting is learned. It is not assumed. So let us move on. What is the root cause? Where the lies come from? Where does the lies come from? This lie isn't born in parenting, no. It is inherited. We inherit them. You know, most of the things that we do. I was talking with my husband this morning when we were dressing up for church, and we were talking about how we are going to rearrange our schedule, our children's schedule for next year. And as we are trying to say, we'll move this activity to later in the evening. There's some activities that we usually have in the morning that we are going to move it to the evening in the coming year. And we were having that discussion, and my husband said, who even told us that we should do this in the morning? And we thought about it. How? Why? We couldn't find answer to it. We just grew up. You know, you just grow up that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing to do, if you are a faith-based family, the first thing to do is to do prayers. After that is to sweep, to wash plate, to do house chores. Why? Why? That things that there are better things, there are more productive things that we can do in the morning. So, excuse me, what am I saying? These lies, they are not born. It is not we that created them. We inherited them. Like I said in one of my posts, that we don't just inherit our parents' properties. We inherit their stress. We inherit their emotional baggages and all of that. So these lies were inherited. Some of the things that you do to your children, do you know why you do them? You don't know. You just grow up. Like, they will tell us that when you are eating, you must finish your food before you eat your protein. Whether you are using meat or fish, that you must finish all your food before you now eat your meat and fish. Why? Who can tell me why? Possibly, our parents are trying to teach us delayed gratification, gravitation, or what do they call it? I think that's what they are trying to do, but they couldn't put it in perspective. They couldn't. So, this lie isn't born, it is inherited from our childhood conditioning. And one of the first things I tell parents is that the first thing you need to do is to re-engineer your mind. Your mindset shift. You need mindset shift. A lot of things that have been programmed, wrong things that have been programmed in our brains, and we grew up to accept that this is the way to do it. Without asking why. without questioning it. We just grew up. My mother, this is how my mother used to do it. So this is how I too would do it without questioning. We have been conditioned. Our brain has been conditioned. So the first thing we need to do if we want to improve on our parenting style is to first work on our mindset. Our mindset. We need to have a mindset shift. You need to reparent yourself. Yes, I call it reparenting yourself. We need to reparent ourselves. And again, we run a course at the Mother Family Focus, and we call it Healing the Inner Child. It's about reparenting yourself. Giving yourself what you lacked. What's supposed to happen to you that didn't happen to you. You will call up yourself. You will see yourself. And you will offer those things to yourself. That's why I keep telling you, don't miss it. This coming year, we are going to roll out many new courses, and trust me, they are going to be transforming. Please don't miss any. Do not miss any. Do not miss any. Some of you will come to my DM, you send message, oh, my child is doing this, how do I do that? I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that. There's no way I can attend to everybody. One question can lead to a whole book. Answering a question can take, a time that will take me to write a whole book. So that's why we are launching new courses on play therapy, on purpose finding, emotional intelligence, and all of that. So when the courses are out, you need to take your time to register, because it will help you on your parenting journey. All right. So I was talking about where this lie comes from. It comes from our childhood conditioning, fear of judgment, and unresolved inner wound. Unresolved inner wounds. Most of the triggers that we have in our parenting is due to an unresolved inner wound. If we look deeply, sometimes all the complaints that we have about our children is not actually about our children. It's really about us. So these are the root causes of these lies. All right. So the generational scripts and the good intention from subconscious parenting belief, the emotional inheritance parents rarely notice. All of this, we rarely notice them. We rarely take note of them because we have been conditioned, because that's the system that raised us, that produced us. We just fall into that system by default. By default. When I ask parents, you think harsh discipline is the best. So when you are younger and your parents were treating you this way, did you like it? Most of them will say, no, I didn't like it. Oh, you didn't like it, but you are doing it to your children. You are doing it. Do you think that your children will like it? Some of us will even say, if one parent said, anything I do to my children, even though it hurts them, later in life, they will pray for me. News flash. News flash. News flash. You may think that they are praying for you. They may not pray for you. I have heard things. I have heard things as a parenting expert. I have heard things. I have heard things. Don't think that if I deal with my children anyhow, when they grow up, they will see that I'm doing that for them. I am doing that because I want them to, to be good. I'm telling you now that you don't need to damage your children before this, because you are disciplining them. Get that book, Discipline Without Damage. You will learn how to discipline your children. Discipline is important in parenting. You will learn how to discipline your children. In that book, I stated how to discipline from age 0 to teenagers. There are different strategies that work for each level of parenting. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. So I said there's a link between your unmet needs and your parenting triggers. I shared in one of my posts how my unmet needs triggered me. If you have been following me, you will know that even where I make mistakes, I share it. I share the wrong decisions I've made. I share the errors I've committed. And even currently, there are times I get it wrong. I am humble enough to share because there is no perfect parent. We are all learning. And one of the things that can help us in our parenting journey is being accountable. If you are not accountable, you can't raise a whole child. And most of us, with my experience, most of us parents, we are not accountable. We are not accountable. No, we don't want to be held responsible. Even when we behave irrationally, we believe we are the parents and we can get away with anything. Oh, that shouldn't be. So there's a link between your unmet needs and your parenting trigger. If you are thinking that your child is triggering you, you need to look inward. It is actually not your child. Something is wrong within you. Something is wrong within you. Something is wrong that you need to work on. All right. So what are the consequences? How these how these lies damages parent-child relationship. These damages are subtle. Some of us, we never even get to know the damages that we have done to our children. Let me share what a parent shared with me sometimes ago. The man is a father. The man should be in his 60s or maybe early 50s or 60s or something like that. So he was sharing with me. I talked about harsh discipline and all of that. And this man was humble enough. And he said, I believe everything you are saying. He narrated how his mother treated him, all in the name of discipline, how the mother was careless about him and all of that, how he was beaten, how he started stealing, how he started and all of that. He shared his experience with me from childhood. And today, God found him. He's a PhD holder. He's a PhD holder and he has a good job. And he told me, he said something profound. And I just wish that most of us would be open enough to analyze what actually went wrong with us. And he said, now I have money. I built a house for my mother. Currently, my mother is living in my house. I put my mother on a payroll. Every month, I have a substantial amount that I give to my parents. But coach, I know that I don't have connection with my parents, with my mother. He was specific with my mother. He said, I just do that because I have to do that because it's my mother and I can afford it. He said, it's my wife. Thank God I married a good wife. That's my wife that will go to my mother to, spend time with her and take care of her. And he said that he has never opened his mouth to share this with his mother. So when you say something like, if I beat you and you give me mark and I give you mark, when you grow up, when you see that mark, you will know that I did it for the sake of love. Then you come and thank me. You are on your own. The reason why some children abandon their parents is not because they actually didn't take care of them. It is because they damaged them in the process of disciplining them. All in the name of all these lies that we believe. Imagine that man now married a wife who doesn't care about mother-in-law. So the mother-in-law will now be saying, and I suffered for my son, I did it for my son, and he got married, he forgot me. The wife didn't allow my son to take care of me. The mother will not even know that there is no connection, not single connection between her and her son. So don't think because you are the mother, because you are the father, Yeah, your children will just love you. If you missed last session, go and watch it. It's still available on my Facebook on my Facebook page. If by in the next 30 days or so it will pull down, it will be available on my YouTube channel. All the videos are available on my YouTube channel. We can go and watch them. So don't think anything I do to my child now, and when they grow up, they will see that I did it because I love them. They will see that it's because I want them to do it. That's why I'm doing that. No, there are some wounds that that can be carried throughout a person's lifetime. Because these wounds are not physical, we don't see them. There are some things that happened to me as a child that when I still remember, I still shed tears. I share one in my book, What I Wished I Knew Before I Became a Parent. I shared one of the instances that when I remember, it happened to me as a child, that when I remember as an adult with my age, I still shed tears. So come down from that table. So what are the consequences? How this lies damages parent-child relationship. Even love, when expressed through control, creates silent wound. And I've been saying this, all these things that we are doing it for the sake of love. Oh. We have good intention. Honestly, I know. Honestly, we have good intention. But let me tell you this. Good intention, your good intention will not erase the damage that your action will cause your child. That's the bad part of it. That is the bad part of it. The fact that you have good intention and you damage your child's spirit, you break your child's design. Your good intention will not erase that impact, that damage. So, even love, when expressed through control, creates silent wound. In my book, Discipline Without Damage, I talked about emotional bank accounts. I think in chapter 6 or chapter 7, I talked about emotional bank accounts. Also in Why Find Your Lost Purpose, I still talk about it because it is important. And there's an analogy that I made in that chapter. Emotional bank accounts. We go to bank or we deposit money in our bank account, right? So that when we want to withdraw, we can find something to withdraw. It is also applicable in parenting. There is emotional bank account where you make deposits and withdrawal. You deposit and you withdraw. So, what are the deposits? When you say positive words of affirmation, physical touch, kiss, hugs, and all of that. When you are doing that to your children, you are having bodily contact, that is making deposits in the emotional bank account. So, the more you deposit, the better for you. Just think about the banking system, the financial banking system. Of course, you can't withdraw if you don't have a savings. So, when you say harsh words, you criticize unnecessarily and consistently, you talk down on your child, you break your child's spirit, you are withdrawing from that emotional bank account. And bad news, some of us, we never deposit. All we know is we withdraw. And our children are running on empty tank. Empty tank. And when they can no longer take it, those of us that already have teenagers, I don't have teenagers yet, but I've worked with a lot of teenagers. And I can tell. And so when the children can no longer take it, now, when you are driving a car and you feel you are driving on extra, at a point, at that point, the vehicle will still be going, right? But when the fuel gets exhausted, what will happen? The car will stop moving. The vehicle will stop moving. So when you keep withdrawing from your child's emotional bank account, you keep withdrawing, you keep criticizing, you keep saying harsh words, you keep beating, you keep talking down, all of that, you keep embarrassing in the name of discipline, and the child's emotional bank account has run empty, and the child turn back to you and start talking back, and you say, because you are now a teenager, you think you can talk to me anyhow, you are this teenager and all of that, and all of that. No, that is not true. The child is not talking back because the child is now a teenager. The child is talking back because the child is running on empty emotional bank account. There's nothing left in the child's emotional bank account. So it is important that we deliberately deposit, hug, kiss. You give a child a peg, you hold hands together, physical touch, words of affirmation, words of encouragement. Even when you didn't get the desired result, you appreciate the process, not just the result. Oh, even though you couldn't get this right, but I can see the effort you put into it. All those things are emotional deposit, and it helps in raising whole children. All right. So anxiety and perfectionism in parents transmits to children. So I'm talking about the consequences. The first one is that when your child's emotional bank account is empty, your control, your child will not trust you. Your child will not trust you again. And that's why things will happen to your child. They won't tell you. Some of the things that some children will tell me, they will say, Auntie, please don't tell my parents. I don't want my parent to know. I just feel like sharing with you. Why? Because the child's emotional bank account is empty. So another consequences, that is how this lies damage parent-child relationship, is that the anxiety and perfectionism in parents transmit to children. And that's the problem that we're having. And that's why we're having this conversation. The anxiety, the perfectionism that we inherited from our parents, we are dealing with it now in our parenting. And if care is not taken, if we don't break that cycle, that is how we will transmit it to our children. And our children will transmit it to their own children. And that's how the cycle will keep continuing. And that's why I keep saying, break that cycle. Break that cycle. That cycle ends with me. That things that my parents did to me, that I have decided, I have worked on myself, that I'm not going to repeat this to my children. Never. I forgive them because that's all they knew. They tried their best. I forgive them. They didn't know better. If they knew better, they would have done better. But now, I know. I am not going to do that. So, we need to break that cycle. So that our children will not have to deal with what we are dealing with. There are times I have conversation with our children, and I will tell them, say, see, I am learning, you see all this camp parenting. I was still telling them recently that you see all these things that you do sometimes. And when I tell you, say, hey, mommy, you are shouting. Mommy, you are yelling. I made a post yesterday and I received a comment in my DM about the post that me, before, if I shout, even if a trailer is going, the child that I'm shouting at, we still know that I'm yelling at the child. But now, I have been able to work on myself. Do I still yell? Yes, I still yell. But occasionally, yelling should be like a fire alarm when there's danger. That is when you should yell. But any little thing, you are yelling, you are shouting, and all of that. It is not a good parenting style. So I was sharing with our children. I said, see, the work that I had to do to stop beating you, I don't want you to go through that again. Learn from me. I don't want you to repeat the cycle that I now need to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 because I don't want to beat my child, and all of that. Because that was what we learned. That was what we were taught by default. So we need to break that cycle. And we can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Yes. If I can do it, we can. I have documented my parenting journey. If you have been following me, you will know. You will know. I have been documenting my progress, how I've been able to work on myself, my tools, and that's why I keep talking about getting resources from the model family focus. My tools, my models, my frameworks that I've been using and that has been working for parents. It is possible. It doesn't matter how long you have been yelling. You can stop yelling. You can break that cycle. It will only take a process. It is very possible. Again, one of the effects is fear-based compliance. Your children will just comply out of fear. They will not know why. And that's why when you are there, your children will behave well. Oh. They will behave so well. But when you are not there, they do things the way they like. That's fear-based compliance, because they actually don't understand why you ask them not to do what you ask them not to do. That's fear-based. But when a child understands why, even when you are not there, your child will know, oh, I shouldn't do this because this is the reason why I shouldn't do this. So effects of this lie is fear-based compliance, loss of authenticity. A teenager once told me, he said, Auntie, let me tell you, my parents don't even know me. Hey! He said, my parents don't even know me. I have to pretend. I pretend to be who they want me to be. And this is somebody that his parents has told me many times that, I trust my child. My child will never do this. My child will never do that. And this is the child telling me that my parents don't know me. Can you see the irony? Parents, when I am talking, please do well to consider what I am saying. Do well to think twice about what I am saying. So loss of identity. The children will lose their identity. Rebellion. They rebel against you. They rebel against authority. And emotional distance. Emotional distance. And that's why some of you say, my child is reserved. My child doesn't like talking to someone. My child would prefer staying alone. That's not true entirely. I understand that there's some children who are nurturers, they are a bit conservative, but children are not wired to keep quiet like that. No. Even with their nature, with that natural nature, children are wired to express. So if your child is not expressing him or herself, don't think you are a good parent. It can be wrong. You can be wrong. You can be wrong. Don't think you are a good parent. Don't think that you have raised a good child. Don't think. There could be emotional distance between you and your child. Now, the truth that heals. The truth that heals. The truth that real. I said, reparenting power comes not from control, but from connection and design alignment. From connection and design alignment. Let me break it down. Reparenting doesn't mean controlling. That you are controlling everything, controlling the outcome, controlling the process doesn't make you a real parent. Doesn't make you a good parent. What makes you good parent is staying connected with your children and having design alignment. Again, you need to read that book, Why Find the Unlost Purpose. It comes with a workbook, a complete workbook. It's a living document. It's what you are going to use over and over and over and over and over again. And if you follow the processes, you use the framework as I have designed it, in the next years, let me stop there. Just get the book and read. It will help you. So we need to redefine success. This is the truth. One of the truths that if you are leaving this session with nothing, please live with this. We need to redefine success. Raising children according to their design, not our wishes. We even say that train up a child in the way he should go. And when he grows up, he will not depart from it. But most of us will raise our children in the way we want them to go. We raise our children in the way we want them to go. If we raise our children in the way God wants them to go, we will take our time to understand our child's wiring and design. Most of us don't do this. Most of us don't observe our children. And sometimes, when we make posts, I get a lot of comment. Allow us to discipline our children the way we want. No child will teach me how to discipline him or her. Let me tell you, if that's what you believe, if you believe that your child cannot tell you how to discipline him or her, you are on your path to failure in your parenting journey. Sorry, let me use it that way. You are already failing. That is the truth. Because you cannot lead your child without first learning from them. You cannot lead your child without first learning from your child. You cannot lead your children without first learning from them. And that's why I keep saying that the first 3 years of a child, is the most important years. Is the years that you observe your child. You observe your child. So we need to redefine what success is. Usually, what we see as success is not success. Now, the power of observation and correction. Observation in parenting is huge. Observation in parenting is huge. If you're a parent and you're not a good observer, whoosh, you will make a lot of errors. Irredeemable errors. Irredeemable errors. So you need to be a good observer. You observe before you correct. Observe before you correct. Observe before you correct. You need to understand wiring-based parenting. Wiring-based parenting. If you don't understand that, it means you don't understand how your child brains work. And let me also say this. The reason why most of us are having challenges with our children is actually not because our children are bad. Our children are not bad. It's because we don't understand how children's brains work. We don't understand neuroscience. We don't understand. And we think that our parents our children are the problem. Oh, my child is troublesome. Oh, my child is this. Oh, my child is that. Your child is not bad. There's nothing wrong with your child. I can say that again. Most times, the children that are attacked, stubborn, rude, what again? Children that need iron hand. Sometimes when I work closely with them, that's not their true identity. Most times, that's actually not their true identity. So we need to understand wiring-based parenting. Then, emotional safety is the soil where discipline grows. Emotional safety. Again, this takes us to connection before correction. Your child needs to feel emotionally safe before you can correct your child, before your child can learn. And the reason why some of you will say, I have beaten, I have shouted, my child is not complying, my child is not obedient and all of that. It is because there are so many big errors from our parents. Parents must stop to beat the child. You know when the child wants to tell you something happening. Yes, thank you so much for your comments, John Oluwasegun. Yes, you are right, sir. These are some of the errors. Yes, you are right. Let's caution ourselves. We need to caution ourselves. We actually need to caution ourselves. We need to work on ourselves. The problem is not our children. The problem is us. Parenting is first about us. And if we take it like that, it will help us in our parenting journey. Thank you for this wonderful contribution that you just dropped in the comment section. So we need to make our children to be emotionally safe. I have said this again and again and again. There's a section of the brain called prefrontal cortex. This is neuroscience. Listen to me so that you understand how children's brains work. There's a section of the brain that is called prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is a section that is responsible for impulse control, decision making, emotional intelligence, and all of that. And this section of the brain doesn't develop until mid 20, like 25, 26. I think I talked about it last week on this show. Yes. I said, even some of us that got married early, maybe that got married at age 23, 24, 25, 26, it means that section of our brain that is responsible for decision making, for impulse control, is not fully developed yet. What does this mean? This means that we can take decision impulsively. We can take decision, before we think. Our skills to regulate emotions are weak. That's what that means. And there's a section of the brain called amygdala. That amygdala, it develops very fast. It's the one that controls cry, laugh, and all of that. And that's why you give birth to a child now, the child starts expressing emotions and all of that. So when you want to correct a child, and you start with, what I will do for you today, you will not like it. This is what will happen. This is prefrontal cortex. This is amygdala. So when you say something harsh, something scary, or you want to beat a child, the prefrontal cortex just switch off, bam, and the emotional section, the amygdala, is on. So that amygdala, what it does is that it will now bring that child in these three states. Is it that the child is on flight mode, like the child wants to run away, or the child is on fight mode, the child wants to fight back, or the child is on freeze mode, the child is just there, the child is confused, the child doesn't know what to do. So when you are beating and you are saying, how many times have I told you this? How many times have I corrected you? You are just shouting. Your child is not learning. Your child is just hearing noise. The brain can't pick the learning, because the section of the brain that is responsible for learning, you have switched it off. It's off. So when you want to correct a child, the first thing you should do is to ensure emotional safety. You should ensure that your child is safe. So when your child is safe, that prefrontal cortex is active, is ready to learn. And anything you teach at that time, the child will pick it in. That's neuroscience I have discussed again. In one of these sessions, I will discuss that in detail. So don't miss the talk show for any reason. I hope you understand that. I hope that really works for you. So I have talked about the truth. So how do we break the lie? This lie, I call it 3-step freedom framework. Trust me, one of the things that I will always do, I won't tell you what you are doing that is not right. I won't stop there. I will give you tools that you need to stop what you are doing that is not right. So I call this 3-step freedom framework. And I'll quickly rush through it so that we can close this session today. The first one is awareness. Healing starts when awareness becomes action. When we are aware, awareness is the first step, to making positive change. Awareness. The second one is realignment. Awareness, realignment. And the third step is restoration. Awareness. Recognize when fear, guilt, or pride is guiding your reaction. Recognize when fear, guilt, or pride. Some of us is pride. Yes, some parents may not agree with me if I say that some of us parents, we exhibit pride to our children. And you will say, maybe the Bible says, parents should honor, children should honor their parents. Honor your parents in the Lord, for this is the will of God. Yes, I know that. But how do you teach your children to honor you? You honor them first. You honor them first. You honor them first. Just that the way you honor them is not the same way they will honor you. But you teach them how to honor you by honoring them. So sometimes it's pride that is guiding your reaction. Yes, and I mean it. All right, that's awareness. Realignment. Pause, reflect, and reconnect. Pause, reflect, and reconnect. That's realignment. Realign. Ask yourself, am I parenting this moment from love or control? This will help you to realign. Pause, reflect, and reconnect. Then the third step is restoration. Restoration. Practice connection rituals. Connection rituals. Listening cycles. Listen. Do this frequently. This is one of the things that we do that has helped us to be accountable. Sometimes we just call our children, what is it that we have done or that we are doing that you don't like? And they will express themselves. Some we have reasons, we will explain. This is why we do this. This is why we are doing this. It is our role, it is our job as your parents to protect you. So we have to do this, whether you like it or not. We have to do it. So we let them know. And if peradventure there is anyone we have done wrongly, we are humble enough to apologize. Oh, sorry, we did this. We shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have been treated this way. So restoration, practice connection rituals. These are the connection rituals. Listening cycles, affirmations, emotion coachings, peace pauses. Emotion coaching is huge. In another session, I will talk about emotion coaching. All right, I'm going to talk about emotional coaching. So parenting doesn't need perfection. I often say this, you don't have to be perfect. There's no perfection. Perfection is a myth. Perfection is a myth. If you think you can be perfect, you are setting up yourself for failure. You are setting up yourself for stress, unnecessary stress. So what parenting needs is peace, awareness, and presence. Peace, awareness, and presence. And that's the journey we are here on together on the Parenting Talk Show with Coach Ayilua. This is a master class that I've given you free of charge. 1 hour, how many minutes? Yes, 1 hour, 7 minutes or so. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all for staying with me. Please share the link to this session to your friends, to your families, to your neighbor, your children teachers, your church member, your mosque members, and all of that. Let us learn and grow together. Let us learn and grow together. Don't forget to share the link to this video. Every Sunday by 2 p.m., we are here on the Parenting Talk Show with Coach Ailu. And trust me, I will always bring something educative, something easy for you to start implementing so that we can all raise well-rounded children and we can have a balanced society. So this is where we call it a day on the Parenting Talk Show with Coach Ayilua. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, keep parenting with intention.